Back in the 1870s, Frisco was one of the roughest towns in the American West. Pulling the equivalent of $2 billion worth of ore from these hills, this town was one of the richest mining towns in Utah. Today, it's nothing but a ghost town, and I'm here to see what's left. When you think of Wild West ghost towns from the 1800s during the mining boom in Utah, you should be thinking about Frisco. This town is located in the northern part of Utah, and at one point, this town had over 6,000 people and pulled in the equivalent of $2 billion of gold and silver. And my goals on this trip is to explore what's left of the town. You can see behind me, there's a lot of rubble here. Kind of dots all over these hills. And at the end of all that, we're gonna find a great camping spot for the night. At one point, this town had over 9 saloons. Some accounts say it had even more than that, but this is a booming mining town back in the 1870s, 1880s. And their main source of ore was gold and silver. And this town actually boomed so big that if you go 15 miles into the valley, there's a railroad out there. And they only built railroads by places that, had a lot of industry and a lot of fruitful mining activity, right? This town was from the 1870s, so there's a lot of preserved history here. People meant to settle down in this area. I mean, look at these walls. Still standing strong today, it's crazy. And the rock work right here. Oh, there's like a nest in there. Oh, I see feathers. I mean, look at this. All the brickwork still left. We're gonna explore the town first, and then we're gonna explore the mines. Also, it is so hot today. Bugs out, sun's out. We're out here, just in the middle of the desert here. Yeah, I'm just kind of walking around. There's a lot of structures all over the place. I kind of have decision paralysis right now. Usually I'm not used to seeing many things that are left over from towns, and this place has so much. So I'm just gonna keep walking around and finding interesting things. This old boy in the middle of the desert here. Still have some wires in it. Was that like a switchboard or something? Look at this big collapsed building behind me. Also, there's remnants of buildings everywhere through here. Crazy. I could walk these hills all day. Yeah, this thing had a nice roof at one point. Makes you wonder which of these places were the saloons. Man, there's some big timber here. Look how thick that daddy is. These buildings were here over, what, like 150 years ago. So to see something like this, where it's still a lot of stuff, is pretty cool. Yeah, you can clearly see the foundations out here. See the wall right here. That's that building we explored very first. That looks like the most intact building so far. So this must have been kind of the main hub, right? I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buildings kind of all around me right here. Obviously reclaimed by the desert, but I can definitely see how this would be kind of one of the main roads. Yeah, see, this wall goes all the way down there and then continues all the way down there. I mean, look, it's all fallen right here. I mean, the stonework still is just so cool. Look how well established and look how big this wall is right here. Oh, there's so many bugs all over me. Yeah, whatever it is, it's pretty collapsed. Big wall though. I mean, that's gotta be, like 20 feet tall. God, bugs. Oh yeah, it looks like I found a spring over here. I'm glad I walked over. But right below here, I mean, we're in the middle of the desert. I mean, how many times do I have to say it? But there's a pool of water right here. Doesn't look too welcoming, but I mean, any water out here is kind of a godsend, right? But everything changed in 1875 when they found the horn silver ore body, which is further up those mountains. That's where all of the mines are, and we'll go look at that later. But once they discovered that, this place was booming because they were pulling out tons of gold and tons of silver. So you can imagine with the mining rush in the late 1800s when everybody was scrambling out to get to the west, and then you hear about this place, which is booming with gold and silver. It's no wonder that 6,000 people ended up coming here at its peak in 1885. So. Also, on my last video, I kind of tweaked my back a little bit. So I've been recovering over the past few days. Such is the human experience, right? I just turned 40 last week. So it's all downhill from here. I mean, I said that when I was 30, so I guess everything's downhill, but no, we're feeling great. Well, I was feeling great before that bug went in my mouth. Frisco was so profitable with the ore that they mined that they built what's pretty famous nowadays is some charcoal kilns. And they're actually still standing today. I'm walking up there right now. Check this out. But yeah, they were mining so much ore that they had to make tons of charcoal. The acoustics in here are pretty cool. You can still smell the fire, the charcoal. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Frisco was known to be the roughest western mining town in Utah. There's gambling, prostitution, murder, more things. But they had brothels out here, right? They had tons of saloons, you know, tons of alcohol out here, tons of people. So you can kind of imagine in the late 1800s what that meant. Wow, this is so cool. Stonework is just incredible. Wow. Stacked perfectly, right? Going inside here. This one's crumpled, but I thought it was really cool because of that. Look at that. Put a ton of wood in here, then you have to have these holes at the bottom for ventilation that you'd eventually probably cover up, and then it would make, you know, a ton of charcoal. Feels like a cathedral in here, or a jail from the Count of Monte Cristo. But all this charcoal was used to fuel the mining operations, right? The smelting. A lot easier to do it yourself than to have to outsource it, right? When you're out here. Now I'm the only one here in the middle of the desert. It is what it is, I guess. Further down that way by the base of that mountain, that's where the mining activity or the mining operation was. And I'm excited to check that out. And you can see on this structure, that's the only brick left standing. So I guess these kilns were covered in bricks all around. That's the only section that has bricks, so glad it's still up so we can see it. All right, I'm gonna drive over to the mines, which made this town very, very rich. Like I said, over $2 billion came out of here in today's currency, or today's inflation. Just laying down while I relax, or what? Yeah, you know, just as a recap, Frisco was a booming mining town in 1871 to about 1890, somewhere around there. And it was a pretty notorious town, right? You know, gambling, drinking, prostitution, gunfights, old Western type stuff, right? 6,000 people in the town, over 10 saloons at one time. And then they had these mines behind me. Now, the main mine that was producing everything was called the Horn Silver Mine. I believe they discovered that in about 1875 when the town started booming. And in 1885, there was a big mining disaster which pretty much collapsed that whole mine. So that was the start of the town kind of going downhill. But the mine I'm going to look at right now is called the King David Mine, which actually connected with that mine. Oh, just resting in the shade for a second. It's pretty hot right now. Middle of summer here in Utah. This thing is so big. Okay, I'm guessing this is King David Mine right here. This big thing. This has got to be like a winch, right? Into the mine. Right down in there is the mine. You can't really see it, but there is so much cold air coming up from this. This thing goes deep, deep. See that winch cable there? There's an opening here. So it drops down to a ledge right here, then right to the right of that winch system, and it goes straight down into the abyss. It has a very strange odor coming up from it. Like it's not a good odor. But look how big this structure is. Oh, there's a ladder right there. I can't reach it, but. So this is the King David mine. This is what they mined after 1885, after the collapse in the main mine. And like I said, nothing was really the same after that. That started the downfall of the town when that mine collapsed in 1885. I'm telling you, it smells weird, the air coming out of that, like almost toxic. Look at this big contraption. Kind of high up here. Well, that was really cool. The wind is picking up like crazy. My experience with these mines is they're always barred off. So let's see if this one is. It's pretty cool when you're looking around the mountains and then you see something like this. Yeah, this one's barred shut here. Hello? Once again, a cool breeze coming out. Just goes back. This one's very, very sealed off. I see a plastic water bottle in there. Freaking humans. That's why we can't have nice things. One day I'll actually go into one of those and see what's going on. This is pretty cool. Look at this. It's the 1870s equivalent of a strip mall. This is awesome. There's actually still some shelving in there and stuff. I'm gonna go in. See the shelving in here just exposed up against that cliff face, so it's nice and cool. This room back here, still pretty nice. You could fix this thing up. Last room right here, this one looks like the most gone. Roof caved in. A little landslide in here. It's really fun to find structures that are still pretty well preserved. Can't get over how cool this is. Structure right here on these hills. Let's keep going. Oh, he's crawling at me. Why are you doing that, bud, huh? What a beautiful snake. Wow, that's a cool snake. I don't know what kind of snake it is. Let me know what snake that is. If you could get a good look, I don't know. Probably couldn't. It's pretty small. Hiked a bit further in and this whole place is dug out. There's a really cool hole right there with a ladder leading up to it. I'm gonna check out. And also, see that hole right there? There's some timber holding, I mean not holding it up, but bracing that. So it's kind of intimidating in here. Hello? See that with that ladder going up into that mine? That's pretty neat. Yeah, I'm not going to trust that. Oh man, there's just holes all over these rocks. Yeah, right up there and right there. I imagine that's where the ladder goes to. If there's a mountain lion in here, Okay, it's just a little pocket. That's it. See where I'm at here? There's that ladder right there. But yeah, just a little pocket. They must have found something and got it. It's a bunch of pretty raunchy graffiti in here. Really unfortunate. I'm gonna get back to my truck, go back to Frisco, the ghost town, and find a cool camping spot. I'll admit it, not feeling too great. Like I said, my back hurts. I'm tired. It's hot. There's a lot of bugs. Sometimes it's not all rosy out here. Yeah, sometimes it's really hard in the moment. And yeah, you just gotta remember that you're doing it for the memories sometimes. So you can look fondly back at these times, even though it was difficult. All right, enough of that. Oh, that hits the spot. Like a savage. Tons of bugs here. So now I'm gonna go find a camping spot. Sun's going down behind the mountain there. Now's a good time, I think. All right, I found a relatively flat spot to camp for the night. Ghost Town is over there. I pulled out outside of it to camp. I believe it's all BLM land, but I want to respect it as much as I can. Gorgeous night tonight. Clear skies, nice cool breeze. Check out the mountains over here. Yeah, really small on this camera, but really flat, open area. Here's my truck right here, just hiding behind a tree. Yeah, just feeling a little bit sluggish today, but yeah, found my camp. Honestly, just call it a night. Yeah, just gonna enjoy the night. Maybe put the camera down for a little bit. Just in here relaxing. Nothing to report. Yeah, pretty cozy in here. Sleeping by this ghost town. If you saw my last video, you know I was visited by something during the night, like a critter or something, but kind of freaked me out. I was in the middle of nowhere. Hopefully that doesn't happen this time. Jesus. All right, heading to bed. Pretty windy outside, actually. Kind of rocking the truck back and forth. But yeah, I'll see you in the morning unless some critter decides to sneak up on me again, but good night. Good morning. Oh, it was pretty windy last night. Didn't really bother me though. Yeah, it's a little cold. A bit windy. Okay, let's go. Ooh, it's cold. Need to get me some warmer clothes here. Oh, okay, well, I'm kind of recovered. It's kind of cold, pretty windy out here. I think I've said that 4,000 times. It's kind of cool. This area is really cool because, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but Butch Cassidy actually grew up in Beaver County, which I believe we're in Beaver County right now. And some of the people that would be in his gang would have lived or, you know, at least been in Frisco. Pretty big town out here. I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that Butch Cassidy himself would have went through Frisco at one point. But yeah, this is like your classic Wild West mining town, right? That you'd see in the movies. From 1871 to about early 1900s. One of the richest mining towns here in Utah. Crazy that they pulled the equivalent of $2 billion out of these hills behind me. These barren hills, just grabbing rocks. But I think I'm gonna call it there for this trip. Back's feeling a little sore. I'm feeling a little under the weather. So I think I'm just gonna take it easy and get out of here. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoy exploring the town of Frisco with me here in the desert hills of Utah. And hey, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I upload every Wednesday, trying to find isolated, cool, historic places. Trying to, you know, explore and tell a story at the same time, or at least some historical facts to make it kind of interesting for both me and you. So, all right. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.